Imagine looking around and realizing that everything you call solid, stable, and real may not be exactly as it seems. The chair you sit on, the ground beneath your feet, and even the air you breathe are, at their core, organized vibration. The sensation of solidity is an interpretation of the senses, an efficient way for the mind to represent the world. When we dare to go beyond what the eyes show, we glimpse a universe of fields, patterns, and possibilities. This is the first crack in the veil that covers everyday reality, an invitation to see differently. We call reality what our senses capture and the brain stitches into a coherent model. But this model is a map, not the territory. We perceive only a narrow band of the spectrum. We see visible light, but not ultraviolet. We hear certain frequencies while ignoring others. We touch surfaces and register their hardness, but do not feel their molecular dances. Moreover, beliefs, memories, and emotions act as filters. Two people, faced with the same fact, may live radically different realities. The veil of perception is woven from sensory limits and inner stories. For centuries, the world was explained as a clock, predictable gears moved by fixed laws. Classical physics gave humanity a sense of safety. If we knew the laws, we could predict everything. But at the start of the 20th century, when delving into the very small, this clock broke. The microscopic universe began to behave strangely. Objects were both waves and particles. They were spread out and yet appeared punctual when measured. Reality revealed an untamed face. Nothing illustrates this shift better than the double-slit experiment. We fire photons or electrons at a barrier with two openings. Behind it, a screen records impacts. Without measuring which slit they pass through, an interference pattern emerges, the signature of waves passing through both slits simultaneously and combining. However, when we install a detector to see which slit each particle passes through, the wave-like pattern disappears and we see stripes like those of solid balls. The mere act of measurement changes the observed phenomena. Here, observe does not mean simply looking with the eyes, but physically interacting with the system. Measurement forces nature to answer a particular type of question, and the answer alters what manifests. Before measurement, the proper description is a wave function, a field of possibilities. After measurement, we obtain a concrete result. This leap is called the collapse of the wave function and raises profound questions. What exactly collapses? What is the role of the observer? Several interpretations try to answer. For Copenhagen, quantum reality is probabilistic until the act of observation, when it becomes defined. For many worlds, no possibility is lost. The universe bifurcates and all alternatives coexist in parallel branches. We only experience one of them. Decoherence explains how the environment selects stable states, suppressing interference. No interpretation is consensus. All, however, agree that the is of the small world differs from the appears to be of our everyday world. Another piece of the puzzle is entanglement. Particles that interact can become connected in such a way that the state of one is correlated with the other, no matter the distance. Measure one here and instantly know something about its partner over there. This defies localist intuition and suggests that separation may, in a sense, be an effect of perspective. The universe presents itself as a web of relations, a continuous fabric in which the parts contain the whole. This vision leads to the idea of the universe as information. Instead of thinking matter that thinks, we think information that organizes. Fractals, holograms, and mathematical codes serve as useful metaphors. Each part may contain the signature of the whole. Patterns repeat at different scales. Simple laws generate immense complexities. When we look through this lens, identity ceases to be only body and becomes vibratory pattern, a process in flux, not a static object. In this scenario, consciousness is not a mere spectator. Human experience shows that beliefs and emotions shape what is lived. Placebo heals without active principle. Nocebo sickens without poison. It is not magic. It is deep interaction between mind, body, and environment. Analogous to the quantum lab, attention functions as a filter. Focus selects possibilities, interpretation gives them context, action roots them in the world. We are co-authors of our trajectories. If this is true, why do we feel trapped in patterns? Because of the veil of perception, cognitive biases, inner narratives, and conditioning that color our vision. We use lenses, I can't, I don't deserve, it has always been this way, and confuse lens with world. Tearing the veil is disidentifying from the lenses, seeing that the story we tell about ourselves is not the ultimate truth. Liberation is not denying matter, it is regaining the freedom to create meaning. There are simple and powerful practices to cross this veil. Mindfulness trains us to observe without judgment. Sit, breathe, notice. Sensations, thoughts, emotions come and go, and you remain as the consciousness that witnesses. This act changes the quality of experience. Automatic reactions give way to conscious responses. The present ceases to be a corridor and becomes a dwelling, the place where life actually happens. Another tool is visualization guided by intention. Vividly imagining what we want to live is not idle fantasy. The brain recruits circuits similar to those of real action and prepares body and mind for the path. When we combine a clear image, coherent emotion, and consistent action, we align layers of being. Intention differs from desire because it does not carry attachment. It points and trusts, instead of begging and contracting. Applications are vast. Decide with clarity when inner noise diminishes. Create with courage by envisioning what you want to exist. Relate with more empathy when recognizing that each one sees through different lenses. Care for health by reducing stress, sleeping better, breathing with presence. Work with focus, prioritizing the essential. Live spiritually with feet on the ground, uniting practice and contemplation. All this requires an ally, healthy skepticism. It prevents quantum metaphors from becoming dogmas or justifications for empty promises. It is legitimate to be inspired by physics to think about life, but it is necessary to distinguish poetry from proof, symbol from measurement. Investigate, test, observe results. Neither naive credulity nor rigid closure. Open mind with criteria is the middle path. Bringing these threads together, the tapestry shows its design. The world is not an immovable block, but a field of potentiality sensitive to how we relate to it. Quantum physics does not solve spirituality, nor does spirituality solve physics, but both, when dialoguing honestly, expand the horizon of the possible. The illusion is not, the world is false. The illusion is, the world is only what I already think about it. Perhaps the greatest secret is this: to separate less. Between mind and body, between self and other, between part and whole. Entanglement reminds us that touching one string makes the entire harp vibrate. Our choices resonate, our presence influences surrounding fields. Living with this awareness invites responsibility without fear. Small gestures, repeated with intention, shift futures. We conclude, then, with a simple synthesis. The reality we live is the encounter between a world in flux and a consciousness in practice. To unveil is to practice. Observe with presence, choose with clarity, act with coherence, review with humility. Science and spirituality need not dispute reality. Together, they can illuminate its many levels. If this message resonates, take it into the now, for it is there that the veil opens.